Hey there, Hofstra fans, and welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GilHofstra.com. I'm Julian Coultry, joined as always by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey Team, Kathy Angelis. Coach, thanks for joining us. Well, let's touch on what happened this past week. Your last two home games of the season. Overall, before we kind of go a little bit more in depth, how do you think you played?
Well, I thought we're happy with the win. We didn't start out like we planned to, and I think there was pressure on both teams. Obviously, we really needed this win to stay in contention for the CAAs, and Towson, also with their schedule, also wanted to win. Being a CAA match, there's going to be it's going to be a bloodbath out there. But it took us a while. In fact, it took us all the way to the final 12 minutes of the game when we scored 3 goals in about 6 minutes or so. I do think that in the second half, we had a great passing. There was great passing in the midfield with the striker line. We just couldn't enter the circle with a strong conviction, and it took us a while for that to happen. But like I said, I think second half we really moved the ball very well, and for a lot of the end of the first half too. But we really could not connect in the circle.
Game 1 Friday versus Delaware. In terms of a team that was coming in very hot, what was the game plan for that, and how do you think the game went despite the loss?
Right. Well, we know that they're going to be at this point #1 or #2 in the league. They're having a fantastic year, and what was really important with us is that we can really stay strong in our defensive structure, and we weren't able to do that for long enough period of the game, and anytime we let down, Delaware capitalized on the attack, and very strongly. We had some moments in the game where I felt we were playing very well, but just not enough to beat them.
Now move to the game that you talked about on Sunday. We'll start with the festivities beforehand. It was Senior Day, something we touched on a little bit last week, but now that the Senior Day festivities has gone through and it's been the last home game for the seniors, what did you like the most?
Well, this is a really unique group of individuals, and I've had a great, it's been a fun ride with all of them. I'm going to miss them. The career goes by so fast, and I feel like just the other day they were here on campus their freshman year. But they were great student athletes, and they've done so much for this university, and we're proud that they chose Hofstra, and we're really excited now to see the challenges that they're going to face. But it was a great day. We had a huge fan base, which was really exciting. A lot of different people, not just family, but we had a lot of different fans come out for this game, and alumni there. So that shows a great support, not just to me, but to our program. So that was exciting.
Now, for the win, you mentioned a couple of things that you liked at the start of this, but one of the things that you really got was another game where a whole bunch of different goal scorers got on the score sheet, including Marta Panas in the midfield, and a couple other goal scorers like Lauren Del Valle, who's really stepped up her game as of late. Do you love it when you can get so many different goal scorers and you have a big game where you score a lot of goals, but it's from different people, or would you prefer the game where you have somebody with 3 or 4 goals?
No, it's great when we have a number of different people score. It's exciting, and I think it really shows the depth on the team that we have, and any given day anyone can score. So that was really exciting, and like I said, I think those 6.5 minutes where we really put the game in our favor was a tremendous effort on our part, and I would have liked to see that spread out a little bit more than just 6.5 minutes, but it was exciting. It was a great way to end the game, and certainly to win.
Now, as far as spreading that out across a whole game, what do you guys need to do to avoid that kind of just 6-minute stretch where you are dominating?
Well, we know that when we are as strong as we can be, and we're really persevering. We've done this with a number of games, and 2 particular games, Towson and Northeastern, that we have such domination in the attack. And it's not just the attack line. It really begins from our backfield and in our midfield, because they would not be in that position without those 2 other lines. So it comes down to all 3 lines really working together and persevering. And when we do it, and we are capable of doing it, but we have really exemplified that we can dominate any team if we can have all 3 lines working at the same time. So really that's our #1 goal, and that's what we're going to have to do going into James Madison on Friday.
Last week of the CAA regular season, you guys sit at 2-2 right now in the conference. Of course, the top 4 teams make the CAA tournament. So with that matchup against James Madison, as well as the one against William & Mary to end this year, what do you think the biggest key is going to be to getting into the tournament?
Right. Well, we have to beat James Madison, and think if, like I said, just what I just said, I think it comes down, this is the final weekend, and this is where everything, this is the big difference, and everyone works so hard all year round to get to. So if we can bring it together and do what we did in Towson and just do it a little bit earlier, and we can dominate. We have a great opportunity to beat James Madison. They're a very solid team, and we know they're having a decent year, a really good year actually. And like I said, it's going to be really important that the entire team is ready to play, and we've got a great shot. So.
What sort of scouting report can you give us on the Tribe on Sunday?
Well, William & Mary, they've had some big wins. Big wins over UVA. They just beat in that. I think that game Virginia was at Charlottesville, and they just beat American, who's number 20 in the nation. So they've had some big upsets, and they've been very consistent in the win-loss category. So we know that they're really having even a brighter year, one of the top teams in the league, and not just that, but also in the nation. So we have to take one game at a time, and it really begins with James Madison, and then we must be resilient and continue on down to William & Mary.
Well, this past week we had so many people that kind of helped on the score sheet, helped defensively. So for these last two games, who do you think on this team is going to have to be the biggest contributor, the biggest X factor to get you guys into the tournament?
Well, there isn't any one individual that we would like all of them to step up, but in particular, we're really going to need our leadership from our senior player, our two senior players, Caitlin DeTuro and Steph Coles, because they've been in this situation before, and it helps to have that type of leadership and also experience throughout the midfield. We're really going to need all the midfielders: Charlotte, Laura, Holly, Marta. We're really going to need those guys to step up, and certainly Janelle is going to continue to lead and do what she's been doing all year round. She's been the most consistent striker in the line and has had some great games for us. So her leadership is going to be really, really important to this weekend.
Finally, Coach, what do you have to do to get those two wins in advance of the CAA tournament?
Well, like I said, it's a team effort. We've won as a team, we've lost as a team, and whatever happens Friday night, it's how the team performs.
Coach, thanks for the time.
Great, thank you.
Remember, Hofstra fans, you can tune in to the WB Mason Coaches Report each and every week right here on GoHofstra.com.